Hi, so basically I am about to take off and fly. My paramotor is set up over here and the wing is attached. I have let out the wing and I thought I'd just go through how I lay my wing out and how that helps me get off the ground most of the time. So the first thing I do is, from what you can maybe see in the background, I lay the wing out and take up the tension on all the A's. So if we go to the wing, what I do is come around to each cell and I pull up the tension on each cell. At the moment I can't do that because I've moved my paramotor back about a meter. So I just need to adjust that wing back again. And then once I've tensioned all the nose cells, all the A's, on the back of the paramotor, and it's spread out nicely like so, I go through each cell one by one, putting it tight on the back of the paramotor. I'm then confident that when I pull on the A's, all that tension will go into the front leading edge of the wing, and that will attempt to grab as much wind as possible and inflate it as best as possible. The next step I then go through is I tease out the trailing edge. Over here you can see I've done quite a good job. There might still be some crinkles and overlaps here and there, but pretty much the whole wing is laid out flat. The next thing I do is I tease out all the lines into straight groups, as you can see below. I take out all the tension from the top of the wing so that there's no slack lines right at the top. This is I think quite important because pressure knots always tend to occur at the top if they are going to, and if you're about to launch and you have all the slack over here, you can see the pressure knots right in front of you and you can manage that. Just give them a kick or just restart your launch. At the top of the wing, those knots are all invisible to you. You can't see what's going on. So I find that's the best way to lay out the wing. The paramotor, I usually push it back a meter so that when I stand up, in the process of standing up, invariably you could take up tension in the lines and then shift the wing around, and that might not be a good thing. So I think it's quite important that the paramotor is at least 1 meter back. From there I'd go to the next step of hooking in and doing all my checks and then going for a launch. This technique of laying the wing out has worked really well for me, especially with smaller wings. Bigger wings, you'll get away with it. You can just lump it on the ground and just charge off, and most of the time the wing will be fine. But this is a 22. It's not small, but it's smaller, and with all the effort in going to set up before takeoff, I think it's well worth getting the wing completely flat on the ground, all the lines teased out. And then one of the last things I do just before takeoff, I stand with both my arms out. Unfortunately I can't do that now because I have the camera in my hand. So I have both my arms out to the sides of me, and then what I do is I walk forward till I take up tension. Once I've taken up tension, I can then feel whether I'm in the center or not. So I'll move left or right till I can feel I've got even tension on the lines. You also want to make sure that when you're holding the A risers in this position, sorry I forgot to mention that, you'll have both A risers in your hands and you're centering on those A risers. You can also then twist your body left and right, and that'll tell you whether you're perpendicular, or should I say the front of your body is parallel with the wing. So there's two things to do: step left, step right, and you'll feel the center, and then twist, and you'll feel whether you actually are centered on the wing. Try it out. It's an interesting technique, and it sounds a bit of talk the talk, but once you actually give it a go, you'll actually feel the center. One thing to be careful about is don't pull on the lines and then deform the leading edge of your wing on either ends, because then you've distorted your setup. I hope you'll enjoy that video. There's probably loads of other tips you guys can throw my way, and just thought I'd put this together. Got another half an hour and then I'll be launching. Cheerio.